I went to the thrift shop again, picked myself up a few more books in a frenzy right before leaving the house. I've been moving back into this home, and so I got all my clothing back from storage. And in a frenzy, I was unpacking all of that store clothes to put a garbage bag together of donations so I could get a 20% off coupon, okay? Anyway, so I got there, went to the same place that I've been going for the bigger book hauls that I've been pulling in September. I went to a thrift shop last week just out of town, and I found myself 5 books there. This time around, I went to the bigger one nearer to me. None of them are actually near me, so I have to go out of my way. I ended up picking up 5 books this time around, and it was a little bit harder to find books that I could pick up for myself because I feel like I've already taken everything I could get that was decent. And although I do see new books entering into the cycle, they're either versions of books that I wanted and I already got, but in different formats. Honorable mentions up front, I found the hardcovers for all of the Hunger Game trilogy, unfortunately, and they were all in perfect condition. And I was like, oh, do I just buy another set and then, I don't know, donate the other set? I'm like, I didn't know what to do. Anyways, another honorable mention was a Warhammer book, but I know there are a lot of Warhammer books, and I flipped through the page where it shows like all the books in like a bunch of series, and I was like, there's so many. I was like, no, I'm gonna leave this one behind because I had to get 5 books exactly so I could get the 5th one free. You see what I'm saying? So I left it behind. I put it in a spot that maybe if I go back and it's still there, I'll consider it. But I'd like to see more Warhammer books before I just pick up one that's kind of well into a bunch of series. I'd rather pick up the first one, you know what I'm saying? If I see the first one, second, third one, then I'll get all 3. If I can see the first one, I'll get the first one. But if I see the 4th one, I'm not gonna pick up the 4th one. I'm gonna jump into it. First one's first. We have this Terry Pratchett book here and Jaquelene Simpson for the Folklore of Discworld. And strangely enough, I've never been able to find a Terry Pratchett book. I'm looking for Discworld books every time I go there because I figure there's a lot of them. How can I not find one? I have not found one in my 4 visits so far to these thrift shops. I have not found one. So anyways, I found this one and I figure it is in goddamn perfect condition. Look at that spine, everybody. It is a perfect spine. Holy crap. It is a perfect condition book. Like literally it's no yellowing. Pages are great. And I figure, you know, this is probably like a not really like part of a series for Discworld. It's just like a supplement guide for the series of Discworld. And I'm not sure I'd spoil anything by reading it, but I don't have to read it right away. But it's a lore book, and I love me lore books. I used to just buy lore books because they were lore books for settings that I never read, but I love them. And so we got this one, and it's in perfect condition. It's revealing additional material on unseen academicals. $4.99. Cover price on the Terry Pratchett one, $20. Perfect condition, so it can't go wrong. So that's one out of the way. Next one up, I got this one right here, this Eckhart Tolle. I ended up reading The Power of Now, audiobook, while I took a spontaneous trip from the province I'm in, Ontario. I ended up purchasing a used van so I could drive out west to the mountains, the Rockies, in British Columbia on a whim. Thank God. I ended up putting 4 audiobooks onto my phone before I left because within 4 or 5 hours my radio broke down, and so I was in silence for the rest of the way. I didn't bring any CDs to listen to, so thankfully I had these 4 audiobooks with me. One of them was the Stephen King book on writing, something on writing. That was really good. That was a really good book. It was kind of like mild documentary with like guidance on writing. This feels like it could be another vlog. I'm derailing, as I am wont to do. But anyways, one of the books was The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It was pretty repetitive, to be honest, but it got the point across because it was persistently provided. In any case, I saw this one and it was in perfect condition, and I figured I would pick it up because I enjoyed the message of that first book, and I figured I'd like to see a different perspective on something else. Why is my camera doing this? It's actually getting frustrating. Perfect spine version. Pages aren't yellowed, perfectly straight, no dog-eared, no writing on the inside. Perfect book. In any case, $4.99 for this one and cover price of $15.50. Can't go wrong. There you go. Book number 2. Book number 3, folks. This was a massive find because what are the odds that I would have found this after recording my TBR list for October, and I said I wanted to read The Walking Dead, The Road to Woodbury, right? Well, I found Walking Dead, Rise of the Governor, because in that TBR, I started reading the back and I was like, oh my God, this is the second book. There's like a first book of the something of the Governor. I was like, oh, I don't want to read The Road to Woodbury if I haven't read the Governor book. Well, there it is. I found it. It was the first book I found on my visit to this thrift shop. I'm like, what? Like, literally, what are the odds? I went to this place 3 times in the last month and a half, and I didn't find it. So convenient. I may be swapping this one in for the TBR, and I'll give that update on the summary of October. But in any case, Walking Dead. Like, look at that. And the spine, perfect. Pages, perfect. Okay, not perfect. See that right there? You see there's a little bit of a little corner damage right there. But in any case, otherwise, it's pretty decent. It's got a little bit of a ding down here. There we go. There's enough there. So there's this damage right here, this little ding here, and there's a little corner there. But I mean, not that bad. $4.99 and the cover price for Canada of $17. So there you go. Book number 3. Looking forward to reading this one this month. Swapping out for the other Walking Dead book. I'm happy about that one. Then I had to find 5 books because I had to get one free, of course. So I found this one. I don't know if there are any more in the series, but we got Avatar, The Last Airbender, The Rise of Kyoshi, FC Yi. I mean, I love the Avatar series. I loved it. And this has that velvet touch, that soft touch cover, which is great. It's my favorite style of book, and it's got some gloss areas around it, just like the Junji Ito books that I mentioned for the October read TBR list. I don't remember who this character is, Kyoshi. I feel like I should. But it's a YA read. I figured it'd be a fast read, and unless there's books that come before it that I should be aware of, I'm not sure. You can hold off on reading this. This was the more expensive one, $5.99 with a cover price of $24 Canadian. There you go. Book number 4, and I love the feel of it. I love the feel of these covers. Next one. Now this is one where I wouldn't have got it because I have no idea when I'm gonna get to a series this size, and I know that it's hefty because it's popping up on a couple booktube channels out there. We got Jim Butcher, the Aeronauts, Windlass. So I'm familiar with the Dresden Files. I think it is. This is part of the Cinder Spirits series. I'm not sure what book this would be in the continuity of all the books, but I do like reading in order. And when I go to the page here of other works, where is it? Yeah, it's nowhere to be seen. So I'm gonna need help out there. I'm gonna have to look this up online. But on this page right here, I only have the Codex Auras and I have the Dresden Files. So does the Cinder series have nothing to do with Dresden Files? Is that what it is? Or is this just a whole different, is it part of the same world? I don't know. I haven't looked anything up. I'm not really worried about spoiling because it's gonna be a while before I get to this. If it's like deep into the run, into some run tied to Dresden Files, then I'd like to try to read those in order. But this being a thick hardcover, I feel like I would like to get the series in hardcover, you know? And so then it makes me have to hunt down the series that matches the series that I'm getting, you know? So even if I find these in mass market paperbacks, I'm not sure I'd be picking them up just to have them, because then I'd see these ones and I want these ones instead. So I might have to hold off. I'm not sure. It's just that it was in perfect condition, man. Like even the wrap here, and it's also got that soft touch feel on the cover, which is great. I could not get it, man. The inside design is actually really nice too. I'm gonna assume these are airships because it's got a bit of a steampunky vibe to the design of things. It's Aeronaut, dummy. I'm a dummy. The Aeronaut Windlass. So yes, it's airships and likely steampunk. Does anyone know anything about this? And that's very likely not Dresden of the Dresden Files. Is this a whole new series? Is this book 1? I'm gonna have to look at, oh, it says first in a new series. That's probably what convinced me to get it. It's all coming back to me. Even though it just happened. Anyway, so there you go. I got my first Jim Butcher book. Book number 5 of this haul. I thought it was a pretty good haul, and I didn't pick up the Warhammer book, which I think it was somewhere in like book 8, deep into multiple series. I'm not sure, man. It looked intimidating, and I was like, it's a good book, but I'm not gonna get it this time. The 3 Hunger Game books that would have been duplicates. I saw a couple hardcovers for Harry Potter, but they weren't in good condition. I wouldn't mind owning that series, but I like to have good versions of the books, or like the first printing. You know the ones, right? The floppy ones but they have the different color spines and stuff like that. I thought those are kind of like iconic at this point, so I wouldn't mind those. What else did I find? Oh, I found a lot of Shannara books, both mass paperback and hardcover, but like different size hardcover too. Like, man, it's weird. So now I have the ones that have like a certain spine on them, you know, and they're like collections of the trilogies, and I feel like there's probably 4 of these, but I looked them up last night and it feels like they were special editions with limited printing runs. So I think I lucked out with the 2 Shannara trilogy collections I picked up. I don't think I'm ever gonna find the first trilogy, which would be the first trilogy of Shannara, first books I need in order to read the series. And then there's the 4th of the series, which I forget what they are. I think it's The Voyage of something rather. And a couple of those books are there in hardcover, but not the collection, right? But at that point, it's like, if all of them were there, I think there are 3 of them. If I found them, then I just get that trilogy as hardcovers. I'd even get the first trilogy if I found them all in hardcovers. I don't want to get them in mass paperback at this point. They're all ratty and damaged. They're always in terrible condition for the Shannara books that I find. So those are the ones that were alluring, but I wasn't willing to pick them up because there's no point point. I might as well give this a bit more time. I think I need to pad out my next visit. In any case, we have to do the big calculation now. Now, because I bought a bunch of extra books that weren't for me, I'm gonna have to do some calculations on the side here. But you'll see the summary up here of the cover price total of what I would have paid if I bought these off of Amazon without any deals or whatnot. You'll see what I paid after that, the discount, and the actual savings, the magical number that I love seeing because it is a significant savings along the way by buying books this way. Do you always get exactly what you want? No, but the discovery is part of the fun. So I think for the next run, I think I'm going to be padding this one out. I'm not going to go back in 2 weeks because I feel like I need more time. I'm looking forward to maybe researching some more names that I keep seeing there, like the VC Andrews in the horror section, a ton of Dean Koontz, but I feel like they're so prolific. I'm like, I can't get started with Dean Koontz. I'm not sure. A lot of Stephen King, but I feel like I don't know how I feel about Stephen King. Is one of the first authors I've ever read. Cujo specifically, then The Stand. Pet Sematary was more the movie. I think I read part of the book. I was probably 16. I'm not sure. I was young. But I'm not sure if I'm compelled to buy Stephen King. Like, I loved the whole writing, the writing book. It was cool. But I'm not sure from a fiction perspective if I would align with Stephen King. I'm not sure. Outside of The Stand or maybe like the Dark Tower series might be something that would be more up my alley. And I understand like his whole like vibe of being character driven and all that stuff, and a pantser style is kind of intriguing, but I'm not sure it's for me. You know, I'm not sure. I'd have to like see. I've got a couple of Stephen Kings from the old days that I haven't read and I haven't cracked into, but I don't know if his writing is for me. I'm not sure. But there's tons of books there. If I wanted to start collecting Stephen King, this would be the place to do it. To do a splurge on it. It'd be easy. Dean Koontz as well. Like, I feel like when I see a lot of one author at these thrift shops, I feel like, are they so generic that they're just kind of like these throwaway reading experiences? The substance of their writing feels impacted by how prolific they are on the shelf. I'm like, why are there so many Dean Koontz books? I mean, it's different. Like Stephen King, they've written a lot of damn books. That's probably why. Or VC Andrews, like I said, also pops up. At this thrift shop, they have the biggest horror selection that I've seen. It's like 2 full shelves. I think it's like 3 sci-fi fantasy shelves. It's a massive selection. And then, the fiction shelves even are 2 or 3 wide. They're just massive. It's a great place. Oh, there's a whole Western shelf. There's like, I think maybe a shelf and a half or 2 shelves of spy and mystery. I'm like, I don't know anything. I don't know who to look up. Okay, I'm kind of relying on BookTube things, like names that people mention a lot. And then, bam, I have like a trigger point, right? When I see the name or the title. Like, that's how I found Abercrombie. For Cormac McCarthy, for example, when I found The Road and Blood Meridian, the Road copies, there's probably 4 or 5 of them floating around there. Terrible condition. Won't buy them. I'm gonna wait. I know that better copy is gonna appear at some point, and then I'll buy that one. So there you go. That's my summary of another haul right there. It was fun. It was good. I might take a break, or I might hunt down a whole different location. I might have to go out of town a little bit. They might be smaller, right? But it'll be a whole new selection that I might be able to comb through. Do I want to use a 20% off coupon on 5 books though? I'm not sure. That's valuable. It still is. It's still gonna give a savings, right? But you get 2 coupons for donating. You get the donation coupon for 20%, but then you also get one that's save $2 on a $5 purchase. So again, if I buy this book, right, $6, I would get $2 off. That's way better. So I could just find one book and then not force myself to buy more books. And then I use the $2 off $5. Min-maxing, folks. It's been fun. I'll catch you on the next one. Don't forget to explore, engage, and inspire, buddy. Peace. Always gaming the system. Yep. It completes me.